Today I want to talk about open G tuning. I've been playing a lot of open G lately, and I'm in the middle of recording a couple of songs that are in open G. And I thought it'd be a cool idea to make a video about it for anyone out there that maybe wants to learn a little bit more about it or is just getting started. So we're going to go through the basics and I'll show you some examples. And then I think I'm going to play a little bit of slide guitar and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so if you're brand new to open G tuning, the reason that we call it open G is because we're going to tune all of the strings in such a way that when we play the strings all open, we have a G major chord. So to do that from standard tuning, we have to tune 3 strings down by a whole step. So starting at the low E string, we're going to tune that down to a D. The A string is going to tune down to a G. And the high E string is going to tune down to a D. The rest of the strings stay the same. And now if we play all of the strings open, we have a G major chord and it's going to sound like this. Okay, now that the guitar's tuned, we have to talk just a little bit about music theory. I'm going to keep it short and painless. The main thing that you have to understand are the chords in a key. And I'm going to refer to them using the Nashville number system. So if you're not familiar with that, basically what we're doing is we're taking all of the chords from a key and we're going to number them 1 through 7. So in the key of G, for example, the 1 chord is G. The 2 chord in the key is minor. 3rd chord is minor. The 4 chord is major. The 5 chord is major. The 6th chord is minor. And the 7th chord is diminished. That's going to be important here in a second when we switch over to the guitar because I'm going to show you where on the fretboard those different chords lie. So let's get to that. All right, man, it is raining like crazy here. It's been raining for like 4 days straight. I just got absolutely soaked. Oh well. So we talked about the chords of the key, and now I'm going to show you how that translates to the fretboard. And the reason that I talked about it is one, the chords of a key are based off of the major scale. So the chords in the key of G major are all based off of the G major scale. And all of those chords serve a function within that key to create emotional movement and resolution. And they sound really great together. So you don't have to just stick with chords from G major in this tuning. You can play different chords. You can play borrowed chords. That's a subject for a different time. So for now, the thing to know is our root note for these chords is going to be on the 5th string. So the 5th string played open is G, and then we're going to go down from there. So A, B, C, D, E, F, and then back to G. So I'm going to just run through all the chords real quick, and then I'll explain it a little bit more after the fact. So we'll start with all the strings open, the 1 chord, G major. Okay, so one quick note with the minor chord shape. You may see other ways to play minor chords. Of course, there's other ways to play all these chords, but I like to leave that 4th string open and let it ring out. And what it's doing is it's a G note, and it just kind of gives a nice like drone to the sound of the song. To me, it adds like a little bit of richness. It may not be the traditional correct way to play a minor chord, but I think it sounds cool, so that's how I play it. All right, besides the minor chords, there's 2 other things I want to hit on real quick. First being that diminished chord. I'm pretty sure that that's how you play it. I honestly don't really ever use it, but now you know that it's there, and use it if you want to. Next, besides the diminished chord, you probably noticed that I was only using 2 shapes to play all of those chords. And that's one of the coolest parts about this tuning. I can bar the strings at any given fret and play a major chord. And that's going to give me this really cool ability to play these movable hammer-on shapes that we're going to talk about right now. Okay, we're almost on to the fun part. So we got to talk about 2 more things. The first is movable chord shapes. It's these hammer-ons you can do that make this tuning really, really cool. It gives you a lot of ability to make different rhythms and play melodies without really moving chord shapes too much. So all I'm going to be doing is fretting the second string on the first fret, the fourth string on the second fret, and I can move that shape anywhere. And if I bar, say, the fifth fret on the C, I can do the same shape, and it's going to give me an ability to make these really cool rhythms. So check this out. And then the last thing is if I fret the sixth string on the fifth fret and the fifth string on the third fret and play the G major, I get a G5 chord, which is really cool. So if I combine that with those hammer-ons, it gives me another level of like embellishment I can add on. So. Okay, so now let's move on to some actual examples and have some fun. Okay, so that example I was trying to use a lot of minor chords. I think that the minor chords in this open tuning are just so cool. They especially if you leave the G string open, like I was talking about earlier, it just gives this like really haunting kind of chord tone that you just don't really get otherwise. So I try to use those a lot, and then. Other than that, I was just using major chords, and I was using those hammer-ons that I just showed you. So if you play around with them a little bit, you'll be able to figure it out. Let's talk about slide guitar. It's probably my favorite part of playing in open tuning, and I love adding slide parts into my songs because it adds this cool element, and some of the coolest guitar licks you've ever heard, you might not know it. Some of them are slide guitar. Once you start to play it, you'll pick them out a lot easier. So the first thing, let's talk about what's a good guitar for playing slide with. Any guitar can be good, but the important thing is the action of the strings. So you can't have a super low action. That's the distance between the strings and the fretboard. If it's too low, it'll just fret out and it won't let the notes ring out, and it sounds, just not good. So I like to use this SG. I mean, if you don't believe me, ask Derek Trucks, I guess. But I like to play this guitar because I can come all the way up the fretboard, right? The way that it's cut. And it sounds great. You'll also see me use my Telecaster a ton too. That's another great guitar I have for slides. So anyways, as far as slides go, there's all kinds of different types of slides. There's brass slides. There's glass slides, there's different thicknesses. There's slides that are only about half the size. You're going to have to kind of experiment and find out what you like. I like brass for acoustic stuff. Almost exclusively, I would say. I do use glass slides and brass slides with electric guitar. It's kind of a personal preference. They sound a little bit different. So you're going to have to experiment with it. To get started with the slide, there's a couple of key things that we can't mess up. One, you're not playing the slide in the middle of the frets like you would if you were going to bar the frets. you're playing directly over the fret that you want to play. And the next key thing is I'm not using the slide to push the strings down. I'm just letting it kind of float on top of the strings. And then I'm sliding it around and letting the notes ring out that I want to ring out in the song. So probably the easiest and most recognizable way to do this is just to slide this slide from the 11th fret kind of slowly up to the 12th fret. So many of your classic slide licks are just in that kind of position. It gives like a lonesome, haunting kind of train whistle sound, and it's super cool. And I'm trying to slide into that 12th fret when the song's resolving to a G chord because it makes it sound great. So I'm going to switch this thing on and show you how to get started with that. Okay, so SG, it's just plugged straight into my Vibrolux, and we're just going to see what we can do here. I'm not going to be able to make you a slide virtuoso here. I'm not a slide virtuoso, but I do enjoy it, and I love to put it in tracks. It gives a really cool element that you just can't get otherwise. So let's start with what I was talking about. We're just going to lay it on the 11th fret, and then we're going to just hit some of the strings. It depends. You might want all of them. You might want only a couple of them. And you're gonna have to experiment with this. It's gonna take you some time to figure it out because it's really easy to push too hard, and then you don't get the right sound, or you get notes that are ringing out that you don't want in the mix. So you're gonna have to play with it. But if you just work on this 11th to 12th fret position right here. You can do a lot of the stuff that I'm doing in these demos just with that. So play around with it. Try it out. Like the amp right now, it's just plugged straight into the amp and I've got it set clean, but it's also really fun to play it with fuzz pedals. I love to use it with this JHS Bender. It's like a tone bender clone, and it gives you even more sustain, and it just makes it sound really cool. So I would recommend you play with that. But again, just... And so when I'm doing those little note emphases, I'm going up to the 12th fret, and then I'm picking out a couple of strings that I want to target, and I'm coming back down like halfway to the 11th and then back to the 12th. The other thing I'm doing in that example is whenever the chorus or whatever comes around, I'm just sliding into the major chords that are being played by the rhythm guitar. So I'm doing something like this. And that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously you can tell, like, I'm not playing it perfectly. It's a skill. It takes time to learn, but you should try it, and you should try adding it into your tracks. So I hope you will. right, well, that's the last example I have for you. I was using the 1, 4, and 5 chord pretty much with those hammer-ons that I showed you, and then the slide techniques that we went through. So many great songs out there are based around just the 1, 4, and 5 chord. And that's another reason that this tuning is amazing to play in. I'm going to give you a couple more tips, and then that's going to be it. All right, so the last couple of tips I have for you. We talked about open G today, but there are other open tunings. There's open D, there's open E, there's open A. Any of the open major tunings like this, the chord positions are in the same place. So you can tune to those tunings and you still play your 1 chord, your 4 chord, your 5 chord, your 6 chord. They're all the same. Some of the tunings like open E, the embellishments like I showed you might be they're up a string, I think. But if you play with it, you'll figure it out, and you should. It's great. If you're playing in standard tuning and you want to spice your song up, try tuning a guitar to open tuning for a second track in there and play these chords or play the slide stuff that I showed you. It adds a nice little element that you don't get anywhere else. So give it a shot. I'm going to leave you at the very end with a little preview of one of the tracks I was working on if you want to check it out. I thought it was fun, so I thought I'd share it in this video. But other than that, go listen to your favorite Stones album and play your guitar, and I'll see you next time.